Right, something very special for you tomorrow evening on BT Sport as we remember the motorsport icon, Mike Hailwood. It's a wonderful documentary we're showing. It's called An Ordinary Hero, and I'm delighted to say Mike's son, Dave, is with us in the studio tonight. Dave, it's really good to have you here.
Thanks
and
for
I know it's
having
an
me.
emotional time for you. I think last week it was 33 years since that terrible, terrible accident, and it sits heavy with you. That never goes away, I'd imagine.
No, it's something you just have to learn to live with, but you remember the good times and soldier on, as any good racer would.
You haven't seen the film that's going out tomorrow night.
Not yet,
There's
no.
some wonderful, wonderful images. We might give you a little peek preview of some of them now. Would you like to see some?
Oh, I'd love to see some of that.
Talk us through what we're seeing here.
Oh, wow. Dad, as a young lad. Changing the plugs. Changing the plugs at the square. Look at that, wow. Pushing off. That's the big 500.
And the Isle of Man, he loved the Isle of Man so much, of course, indeed.
Yeah, I mean, 14 TT wins. I mean, that's great. I take my hat off to John McGuinness. I mean, I got to ride this a couple of years ago at the Island. Unfortunately, I had to do a bit of creative parking with it. But John, last year, took her out and did the reenactment with Aggo. Aggo was on the 500-3, and John was on this. And listening to them coming across the line, the pair of them at full chat, oh, God, it's...
Well, wonderful. Do you know, every single bike fan will understand, because this is a wonderful, wonderful bike. And when you talk about your dad, Mike Hailwood, and Aggo going at it on the Isle of Man back in 1967, one of the big, big races there. And this is the bike. This is the bike. Tell everyone why it's such an iconic machine.
Well, I mean, aside from the 67 GP, which was probably one of the biggest battles he ever had with Agostini, I mean, it was Agostini's 21st birthday, and unfortunately on his last lap, the chain snapped, and he had to coast in. Not the way Dad liked to have won, but, you know, they were good friends. They went out and had a good meal afterwards. But, I mean, the bike is so iconic because, I mean, this is one of the first, not the first Honda that arrived in the island, but it was one of the big first racing machines that arrived, big double overhead cam engine. And this is where a lot of the modern bikes that we ride today come from. We should put you on this, and then you should ride your other bike as well straight afterwards. You can give us a back-to-back.
Yeah. Hey, it's beautiful to look at. Who'd like to hear it?
Oh, yeah.
OK, here's a little bit of silence. Here we go. Music to our ears. Go. Jules, you're liking that, aren't you?
That's not the word for it.
We also have something very, very special, not just the bike, but some of the memorabilia here. And we're treating this very, very gently. And I want you to show everyone what this is. This is a wonderful, wonderful memory of your father. So just open it.
Yeah.
Very careful.
This is the last helmet that Dad had on.
Oh, my God.
And it is literally as he took it off. So I sort of take it out very carefully, and it will drop a bit of the lining from the inside. But that is literally as Dad took it off, all the dust included. So there we go.
I've got to ask you something. I was inspecting this bike earlier because I was in awe of it. But what I noticed, my eagle eye, and maybe people at home would see it, but the braking and the gearing was completely swapped round. So I'm thinking, hang on a minute, why is the brakes there and the gears are there? But this is a clue, I believe. Tell us about this.
Yeah, for all our DIY fans out there, this was the start of 5 operations that he had on his legs after a big car shunt. And, of course, in the old days, your feet were right in the nose cone of the car, and he did break both his legs. So after the operations, the left one had pretty much fused, and he only had a couple of degrees movement. So they changed all the linkage over to the right-hand side so that he could still, you know, he could still change gear and everything. And this bike is set up literally as he stepped off it for the last time, hence the one-up sticker on the top yoke, which is on the right-hand side. Yeah.
Before we remove all Jules' drool off all
Can you just not have that balancing there? I can feel everyone's going, oh, God, don't have a balancing, just don't have a balancing. Put it back in the bag.
This was presented to your family. This is the MotoGP trophy, only given to your family a couple of years ago, but Marc Marquez would have one of these now, a bit taller, more names on it. Yeah, do you want to hold that, Jules?
The Tower of Champions, it's known. I'd love to.
Wonderful stuff.
Anyway, I get to hold it.
Thank you so much for bringing all this stuff in. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
Thanks very
Great
much,
stuff.
guys.
Thank you so much.